All right, folks, welcome back to another edition of the Red and White Podcast. I'm your host, Evan, here with my always co-host, Dustin, and this is the Beating a Dead Horse edition of the podcast. What say you, Dustin?
I'm kind of tired of talking about it, and I'm surprised people would even care about still listening to it, honestly, but, I mean, so are the times.
I think it's a polarizing topic at the moment because we don't know what's going to happen. But if you look at some of the numbers, and I'm sure everybody listening has probably heard these already, but I'll repeat them. 3-13, which happens to be the worst 4-year ACC stretch in the history of Carter Finley, considering it's the 50th anniversary of Carter Finley. And 1-13 versus non-Wake Forest teams in that stretch at home.
Oh, is that 3? Does that include Notre Dame or?
No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. There's nothing we haven't said for about at least a month now. So,
which is crazy. I mean, I just don't think that's acceptable, right? And there's a lot of. I don't know. There's a lot of people out there that are not sure about what's the next step, and I don't think there's a definitive answer. But those results are awful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just bad, and the prevailing thought that really bugs me, and I've heard it numerous times in numerous forms, is basically, hey, we are this program. We are. You're 500. You nobody wants to come in here and compete with Louisville, Clemson, and Florida State. Like, I've heard that numerous times. I think that's just stupid, and I hate the defeatist attitude of everybody who thinks along those lines. It just bugs the crap out of me, man. I woke up this morning pissed when I saw something. I don't know what it was, and I texted you and I was like, man, I'm pissed. This is annoying. Like, it's just that whole mentality of we'll never be good. Like, that's bullshit. Nobody had that thought when we were talking about basketball and who's going to be the next basketball coach, right? It's the same thing. There's an opportunity here, I think, and it's just our opinion. We had Scott Roussel, Football Scoop, nationally respected writer on here. He said the same thing. He said it's a program with all the tools. It's got everything you need to win. There's no reason you can't win here. So it's not just us saying that, but I don't know if it's the state fan in people or if it's just the stupidity in people that they're just accepting, oh, you're 500, or you're not going to be able to get a better coach than what you have now. Okay, maybe, but I'm willing to take the risk at this point. Because if you're going to play for, and if you're going to strive to be mediocre, I don't want no part of that. I'll find another team to pull for. If that's okay for you, then I mean, give me my LTR money back. I don't want to do any part of that. It's just not. I don't think that's acceptable. And everybody's saying it's a crapshoot. If you fire Doran, it's a crapshoot who you're going to get. Okay, but if you keep Doran, it's a crapshoot what's going to happen next year. I don't know. I mean, he could win six games again. And I don't think that's not what I want to deal with anymore. I don't think that's okay.
I guess if it was, just this year that it kind of gone like this, it'd be one thing. But, you hear that, like you just said, well, we're a 500 team. That's what we are historically. Yeah, we are under Dave Doran, for sure. So, I mean, we might be historically, but I just don't see the draw and not wanting to be a little bit better, like you said. Give me 8 wins a year. That's, consistently.
Yes.
Which, there again, I mean, we kind of had that, before we hired Doran, and people weren't pleased. So there's a lot of I'm torn as to how this is okay, but the whole TOB regime wasn't. And I understand the points, but we put more wins on the board.
Yeah.
We had some upsets. You could count on, one a year probably. And that was standard, which is what we've been harping about wanting now.
Yes.
So if that wasn't okay, why is worse than that okay now? I don't get it. I understand. The year 5 argument at this point. I can see it both ways, but I feel like we're in a worse spot at this time in this tenure than we were in the last tenure. But for some reason it's okay now, and it wasn't then. And to a lot of people it's not, but there's a lot more, we got to wait it out, we got to tough it out. I don't get it. I don't like it. I'm over it. I'm kind of over state football because of what it is apparently supposed to be, and that's not good enough for me.
No, it's not. And I'm gonna pick on Pack Pride again. Rob McLam was tweeting this afternoon, just asking the general consensus: if you were a coach, would you take this job? Given the circumstances, the competition. I mean, the money speaks. It's not about the competition, right? If you're a football coach, you have the ego and you want to compete and you want to get paid. And we can do all of those things. And if somebody says one more damn time that, they don't want to compete with FSU and Clemson or Louisville, freaking Wake Forest won an ACC title.
Yeah.
And I know the cards aligned right for them. The cards aligned right this year for anybody because none of those teams were not beatable. College football is cyclical. Everybody has their ups and downs. And we're not asking to win 10 games and go to a BCS game every year. That's not reasonable. But you got to start with having a standard of, hey, you got to win 8 games. And you got to win 8 games on a normal schedule. Dave Dorn's won 8 games with a shit-ass schedule.
Yeah. It's not unreasonable to expect winning the division, say, once every 10 years. Like, you could tell any other school in the country that, and they would agree with you. But for some reason, that's unacceptable for us to feel that way.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't give a damn who's in the division. I mean, the SEC West, should those other schools just leave? Or just quit spending money on football?
Right.
I mean, it's a good thing Dan Mullen doesn't feel that way. Or Mississippi State had a great year last year. Well, I don't even know why they wasted their time.
Yeah. They're making it sound like it's the SEC West. That's exactly the example I use. I was like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why are you afraid of being good or being okay? In my everyday life, if I was mediocre at everything, I'd be pissed. Right? I hate sucking at something. I want to go out there and practice as much as I can until I'm better at it. I don't want to be a mediocre husband. I don't want to be a mediocre dad. That's not okay. And it's a really weird analogy, but it's the same thing. Like, you have to hold yourself to a higher standard to some degree. And I just can't take that defeatist mentality. I mean, again, everybody in college football has their ups and downs, right? Oregon's at the top of the pile for a long time. But they came from nowhere. And now they're down a little bit again. And then Colorado won 2 games, been picked last in the Pac-12 again, is actually leading the Pac-12. And they've only lost 2 games this year. I mean, that's getting it done.
It's funny, when they joined the Pac-12, I laughed. It's like, haha, they never have a chance of winning anything.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, I mean, I don't know. Like I say, I'm not even upset or completely disagree with the one more year thing, but that's different than just accepting that this is the way it should be and we should just deal with it.
Right.
Like, okay, you want to give him one more year, give him that year 5, okay. But there needs to be some expectation there. And I feel like if we're in the same spot next year, well, we're a 500 school. That's just what we're supposed to be. No.
Yeah. Oh, Debbie's only got one more year. She's not going to want to fire him. Right? I mean,
yeah.
That's what you're going to hear after next year. It's, again, bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't expect him to go anywhere this year. The year 5 thing, I mean, that's the time, I guess. But like you said, then you're in the shitty AD situation. So I don't know how that plays out. I don't know. Good
and
thing
so
we
the
don't
other
make the decisions, or man, it'd be the Wild West. So
and I don't think we're being irrational, right? We supported him since day one of this podcast, right? Until maybe 4 weeks ago, when it's apparent when you're just not getting any better and you're not changing anything. You might have elevated talent, but you're getting worse results. So what the hell does that matter?
yeah.
And it's just not okay. And I lost my train of thought, but it's annoying. And it's just a vicious cycle. Like, we looked awful against Miami. They're not that good. They're beatable.
So many just the stupid drop passes and penalties. I know everybody thinks they've got a bias and we get some bad calls, but there's no reason to help them out in making those calls either. Clipping, touchdown comes back. Was it not? Well, doesn't matter. It got called. Little things that are coachable for any other team aren't. It's just not taking here, and I don't know where else to put that blame.
Yeah, I mean, coaching. You coach the little things, right? I don't remember who said it. One of our coaches, might have been Tom O'Brien, it might have been somebody else.
I think that was Abraham Lincoln. Saw it on Facebook.
You coach the little things. And we're dead last, or we were dead last at one point in penalties. That's coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's discipline. And I just don't, maybe he's learning on the job. I mean, I think that's pretty apparent. And if you give him 10 years, maybe he'll get us to the 8-win program every year. But there's going to be nobody in the stands next year. So people are worried about a $2.7 million buyout. We have alumni that would pay that.
Yeah.
They have to, I'm sure they want some input, which, hell, after this point, I would want some input for $10. Right? It's just, he's already lost the fans, and especially the students. It's again another week where the students didn't show up. And I forgot which one of them tweeted at us and said, hey, look, the students they don't care anymore right now, right? It's not fun. We're going to lose. Why are we going to waste our time to show up? It's like, I get it. It sucks, but I get it.
I couldn't give tickets away Saturday.
No, we couldn't. And it's going to be worse next year if they don't do something. No matter what happens, the only way he's going to salvage that is that he's got a chance, being that the first game is versus South Carolina, name brand, not at home, right? It's in Charlotte. So if he wins that game, you might have some redemption and people will show up. If he loses that game, nobody's going to show up. And I would bet that season tickets would struggle. And that's really abnormal for us.
I mean, there's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
what ticket loss is equivalent with a $2.7 million buyout,
That's a good question.
I imagine it could be pretty close. If we go out Friday and just get smacked, which I fully expect,
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be a lot of tickets not sold. It might not be, over 2 million worth, but it's gonna be.
7,000 tickets is 2.7 million.
I could see that. I mean that's. Well, how many did they sell this year? Like, max.
40,000, something like that. 36,000.
Yeah, it was the biggest year in whatever, or in a long time.
Yeah,
or,
I think it was ever. It's gone up.
I could definitely see dropping that number, especially with no Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a lot of revenue lost.
Absolutely.
Because then you pile on parking, concessions. I mean, that shit
Yep.
adds up. And buyout might. I mean, it could be an investment. So, I do. Go ahead.
No, I was just say I agree with you. I don't. Go ahead.
I want to play the devil's advocate role a tad. I was watching the Steve Logan show on the WRAL, and he started talking about this, and I tried to jot this down. It's a little long, so bear with me. He said, "This has been the most frustrating football team in the world to watch, week in and week out. They've been competitive each week with the exception of Louisville. Could have won a bunch of them. They're sitting at 500, which is kind of how they've played. I would caution it's the easiest thing to do in firing a coach. That's a brainless thing to do a lot of times. It's an emotional reaction. State has 3 seniors on offense, 2 on defense. It's a good football team. There's a lot of fabric to it, and they're doing a good job of coaching." Now, I'm with him until that last sentence there. And then he went on to say that, for example, he had a 6-5 team that had a season just like this in every game. The administration kind of freaked out and came down on him, and he said, it's a young team, let me have one more year. That same group of kids went 9-3 the next year. And he said, winning and losing is kind of like it's like walking on thin ice with the maturity level, and that they're young, which is to me an excuse. And then the other thing he mentioned is that he sees Finley taking a step back and pressing and trying too hard, but their record and the way they've lost games probably has a lot to do with that. So that was a lot of stuff there, but the first, I get it. I mean, they're really close to having a totally different record, which we've talked about. So does that merit him the extra year? I mean, it could, but we're coming up on the short end, and he talked about the thin line of winning and losing. Well, if you're on the wrong side of that a lot, you drown if you're walking on the ice. So,
and it's the right way. I mean, it's the right way to understand. It's the right way to look at it. Because I guess the problem I have with it is that we are on the losing side of it, right? We have been consistently on the losing side of it. There's no argument that the team is better and that if a couple things go our way, it's a different season, but they aren't.
right.
And there's a consistent pattern to it, which is what concerns me.
Yeah, this is the norm now.
Yes.
And how long do you let it be the norm? And you could say that it was the norm before and that he's trying to change that. But damn, how long does it take to change it?
And these are all his players.
Yeah.
And we've heard the young excuse before. We've used it to defend him before. But they're juniors now, and they're not young. And Finley's 23 or 4 or something like that. He's not young.
Right.
And he's been awful lately. If you look, Joe Giglio mapped out his or charted out his percentages, and he's like 8 red zone interceptions or something like that. I mean, just the numbers were awful. And nothing has changed.
Yeah.
We're not seeing any tempo. We talked about the tempo in the offense before the year. We're not seeing any of that. I don't know. Again, we're talking in circles and beating it to death. I don't know what the right idea is. If you give him your 5th year, I get it. That's the 5th year. But if you also give him the 5th year, and then you're expecting something more than winning 6 games, I can't help you there.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't proven anything to do that, right? The schedule's not easy next year. It's not going to get any better. How bad is Jalen McClendon if Finley keeps beating him out and he's playing like donkey shit?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if you want to do the 5th year, fine, but it's going to be tough to buy those tickets, and there needs to be a strict expectation on what the season better bring,
Yes.
I don't know what else to say about it.
I think that's it. I mean, it's we don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does. You can a lot of speculation, and I guess I can understand it either way. But at this point, I'm ready to cut bait and find something else and try something else. Right? Somebody said it's a crapshoot if you let him go. Well, it's a crapshoot if you keep him around, and I don't see the benefit to. Again, if you're the risk of keeping him around versus the risk of firing him into the unknown, give me the unknown with a higher ceiling.
Yeah. Plus, coaching searches are exciting, and our football isn't right now.
Yeah.
So, they'll give us something. We can start watching for planes and all that. But
well, Charlie Strong got fired, is getting fired. Something about him getting fired at Texas. I don't know what the status is. They'll probably let him play the TCU game before they announce it, but I think it's been leaked out already. And somebody somewhere, Twitter or some message board or something, said 29 in a mid-major conference, 12-14 in the weakest Power 5 conference. Sorry, don't see the upside there.
And how many games did you say you won in that conference?
Yeah, 20-9 and then 12-14. That's better than us.
Yeah, it is.
That is better than us.
And Texas is a hard job, man. We were talking about that text messaging. Yeah. Like, Texas isn't what Texas used to be.
No.
A&M runs that state now.
Yep.
If they're going head to head with Texas, they're more than likely going to get that player. They have the money.
In the SEC.
Yeah, the conference prestige. There's nothing exciting about playing in the Big 12.
It's garbage.
They go for the Oklahoma game. That's all they got.
Yeah.
So this is not the we can get anybody we want Texas that we grew up on. This is different. And he was just a bad fit there.
Yeah.
Conference, everything. He doesn't play Big 12 football. He plays, I don't know, it's kind of like what Texas football used to be, but that can't be the case now.
Yeah.
And that there again, that could be an issue here too. I won't lie, but
he's not without his concerns. Les Miles is not without his concerns.
Les Miles is the truth.
Are they greater concerns than I have for Dave Doran right now? No. Because both those guys have won at some level.
Yeah. Well, so did Dave.
Oh, all right. So let me get into this. Right. All right. We're gonna go here because we were talking about this. I don't remember what we were talking about it, and a lot of people were just the reaction is I don't want another MAC coach, and this is mostly in conjunction with PJ Fleck. Now, I've been on the fence before about it, but I'm not going to write off a coach because he's in the MAC, right? There's been a lot of good coaches that have come out of the MAC. And the most recent example I used was Dave Clawson at Wake Forest. And people flipped their lid about it. Oh, Dave Clawson, Wake Forest sucks. He can't even beat NC State. Or look at him versus Clemson, Louisville, and Florida State. He sucks. Or that was what somebody said to me. It's like if you expect Wake Forest to beat any of those schools in their second year, then you will never be satisfied. And that's not the person I want making decisions for us.
Yeah.
You have to look at the improvement. And you have to watch them play. They are a much better coach team than we are right now. They just don't have the talent. They just don't have it. They're competitive in their games, and they're just missing the talent. And there's a reason Dave Clawson's name was mentioned with Notre Dame, assuming they fire Brian Kelly. It's because he's making moves. He's doing things. He's building the program, and they're getting better. And it's hard for us to see that improvement, and that's the problem. So that's why I'd love to talk to Steve Logan or anybody with a trained eye. It's like, do you see the improvement? Like, show me where this is.
Right.
Because I'm watching and I'm seeing the same shit I saw in year 1, in year 2, in year 3. And and we've talked about it before. If you look at the offense, he fires offensive coordinator. Matt Canada is now running a top 10 offense at Pitt, while we are struggling to move the ball in a lot of cases.
Yeah, I want to go ahead and say I was right there. I still get a lot of flack for it, but proof's there.
The common denominator has to be Coach Doran.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. I don't know Drinkwitz, but I'm going to guess that there's something that's keeping him from doing what he wants to do. And we're just not a good, well-coached team. And looking at... Go ahead.
Even Mark Richt talked about after the game about how good this team is and all this other stuff. And I feel, I don't know, everyone on the outside says it and we don't. So are we wrong, Are we right because we see it week in and week out? Or are we too close?
It's very well that we could be too close and just nitpicking at some things. I'm completely aware of that. But at the same time, what is Mark Richt going to say? That team, they're garbage, right? He's not going to say that.
No, but he went out of his way to talk about how good they were, and he's not done that. He doesn't do that every week.
Yeah.
He said it before the game, and then he said it after, too. And I don't understand.
Maybe they're bros, and he knows he needs some help.
Maybe.
I always wonder what they say at midfield. Hey, man, give me some good words, man. My ass is on a hot seat. Like, I wouldn't put it past anybody. I would do the same thing if I'm scrambling for my job.
Yeah.
But if we go back, we were talking about at the tailgate. We were talking about Dave Doran at NIU and the MAC and why people are scared of MAC coaches. And sure, Dave Doran had success at NIU. But it's been noted everywhere that it was Jerry Kill's program. And that he didn't build anything, he just maintained it, right? There's a complete difference. There's a very stark difference in that versus PJ Fleck, who's started at Western and they weren't very good. They won 3 games and 1 game, but they slowly got better. Now they hadn't lost this year, and they're beating the mess out of their competition.
They want Bama.
They want Bama. There's a complete difference in the two coaching paths. So you got to look a little bit deeper than I don't want a MAC coach. Give me more reasons than that. That's not substantial enough, and that just makes you sound like a crazy person. It doesn't hold weight in any argument.
I don't want a MAC coach because I want somebody that's proven themselves already.
Well, that's fine.
I'm tired of taking chances, and I would rather look at something with history there, someone that's won at. I don't expect to get like a tier 1 coach, but someone who's won at a P5 school that we can go out and, you know what? If we want to play big boy football, we have to spend big boy money. Quit trying to find the next diamond in the rough. Go out, spend the money, get a coach that deserves it. I'm sick of hearing that, we can't pay him that. Well, then we just need to accept this as the way it's going to be.
It can't be. That can't be the reason. I've heard it, and I know what you're saying, but I just don't believe that we don't have the money to pay a coach. I don't believe it.
I don't either. So why don't we?
I don't know. I think Debbie thought she found a diamond in the rough. It was her guy. Everybody knows the connection between her agent and Dave Doran's agent. So,
well, I had heard about him because I watched ESPN2 that year, You know,
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't mean that to sound as bad as it did, but everybody's like, "Oh, this Dave Doran, he might be the real deal." Okay, and I was, the way it happened on the plane there immediately after that game, got him locked down. The way it was handled was great. Doesn't mean it was the right move.
Yes.
Take that, take that plan and put it to use somewhere where you're going to get wins.
So here's a question for you, and I was gonna write about this on the blog, but I'm a terrible writer and I just hadn't gotten around to it. In my mind, there's four types of potential coaches, right? So you have the young up and coming head coach, right? PJ Fleck or another young guy, right? Dave Dorn or all these other guys that had done it in the MAC and then moved on. You have the Power Five coach has just been fired or let go or got something along those lines. That obviously those are Charlie Strongs and Les Miles, and I'm sure there's going to be some more. You have the Power Five coach who's maybe been into school too long. I think I heard Steve Logan talk about that as well, where obviously you're out of school 9-10 years, you lose the excitement a little bit no matter what your levels of success. Maybe you don't get along with one of the big money boosters. And I'll use Mike Gundy, for example. There's been a lot of rifts with him and T. Boone Pickens, their biggest donor. And so there's those kind of, and there's been rumors of him looking for a job, looking for a change. And he built Oklahoma State from nothing, or Les Miles did, I mean. But Mike Gundy has sustained that really well over a long period of time. And then you have the never been head coach, but I'm an assistant at a Power 5 school. So your Kirby Smarts and your Jimbo Fishers. Which one of those four categories do you like the most?
I like the good coaches that get fired.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that the key there is they're a good coach. Bad situation maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But they got fired, and they probably don't want to get fired again. So they're going to look to change, and that was my Les Miles argument, who
right.
also fits in with your, might just have been there too long and was complacent.
Yes.
So he's obviously my pick, but
yeah,
I want somebody who, like, we could take the shot on that young up and comer. Might not work. If I'm looking at it now, we had some consistent years under Tom O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
Made the change. It all went to shit real quick. You can't tell me that, you hear the Cubber Bear. Tom O'Brien would have won a conference, or he would have won a conference game the year after he got fired.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just fact. Everybody deal with it. Cubber wasn't great. Okay, it wasn't for a lot of the years he was here. There was a consistent, steady, mature mind. And I think that's what we need now to stabilize the program.
I think that's fair. I can't say what I would do or what I would like. I mean, obviously, I like PJ Fleck. I don't think he's a guaranteed. I think there's guys like, we missed on Jimbo Fisher because Lee Fowler didn't like him or didn't make the call. He was begging for this job.
Lee Fowler did a lot of things wrong.
Right. So we're not going to go there. He picked Tom O'Brien over Jimbo Fisher. Okay. Right.
Hold on. You want to cry? We could have had Jimbo and Calipari.
Yeah, I know.
At the same time.
I'm so sad.
Think of that. Okay. back to regular scheduling programming. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm now crying a little bit. But there's a guy out there, runs a prolific offense, has put up huge numbers against our rival, but he hasn't been a head coach before. I'm talking about Lincoln Riley, who's the offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, former offensive coordinator at ECU, who I will forever love, at least a little bit, for putting 70 on Carolina in Chapel Hill and just dismantling them. Of course, they did to us too, but not 70. So, I mean, if you're wanting excitement, if somebody's out there and saying, I don't want a Les Miles, I don't want a Charlie Strong or a PJ Fleck, that person has got to be okay with a Lincoln Riley or somebody like that. But I think that's a lot riskier, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think offense we can get Lincoln Riley, though.
Well, we could definitely get Lincoln Riley.
I think he wants to stay in that area.
I don't think so. I think he would come to this job.
Where'd he go to school at? It was one of the Texas schools, wasn't
it? Yeah, I think he's a Texas guy. But they said the same thing about Chad Morris, and he's been trying to get jobs all over the place.
Yeah, which I still think would have been a good hire.
Absolutely. I mean, he's proven it now. SMU's getting better.
I tried to say that earlier in the year, and you shot me down.
I did. It was the one time I was been wrong.
No, that SMU, you want to talk about taking a shitty situation and trying to make it respectable.
Yeah.
And they were trash. They're still not great, but I mean, there's been improvement.
Let me see what they are right now. They're 5-6.
So what's our record again? 5-6.
5-6. Oh my goodness. What were they last year? I mean, this is like I'd be okay with one of those kind of guys. Yeah, they were 2-10, so they're getting better.
That's a marked, noticeable improvement.
That's an improvement in 2 years. Yeah, absolutely.
Which, okay, Dave did that too, right?
Yeah.
What's he done since?
Yeah.
So.
Hey, he beat Houston too. How about that? Yeah. I forgot about that. And ECU this year at ECU.
You know who couldn't do that?
Mm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Can we end this?
Yeah, we're just talking around at some point. It's just frustrating. Everybody's frustrated. I don't know what's going to happen. I understand if you give him the 5th year. I don't support that.
See, I don't support it, but I'm not going to just flip out if they do. I'm just really going to have an I don't care and I don't expect anything kind of outlook.
And
which is really hard to get excited about.
And I don't think you want that for your program or your fan base.
No.
And I don't want to be there, but I'm getting there. I'm really close to just like, yeah, whatever. You know? We left at halftime and then went back in, and I was like, yeah, I'll go back in. Why not? It was too nice. And a lot of people felt like that. You can listen to, if you're listening to the crowd walking out of the game, everybody's just like, yeah, we lost again. That's not a good place to be.
No.
That's not where I want to be. So I'm rolling the dice. Give me somebody else. Give me something exciting. Give me some hope. Or, I want to see a fire under Dave Dorn's ass, right? I want to see something that says, all right, he cares. And he's pissed and he wants to get better. And he's not firing his offensive coordinator again for no reason. Just something, right? I don't know. I don't even know. We got Carolina this week that could beat us by 50. Mitch Trubisky's going to be apparently a top 5 draft pick at this point.
I think he's the next Brady is what I'm hearing. So,
like, unbelievable.
Yeah. The spreads aren't promising that I've seen either. So
yeah, Carolina's favored by 10.
It's gone up, I believe.
Oh, not enough.
I think it opened at 10. I know Bovada's got it at 11.5 now, but I think like an average is around 12. So
yeah,
they know what's going on.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. We wasted Matt Day's his 1,000 yards. So congratulations, Matt. Yeah. Congratulations to Matt Days. well deserved. I'm a big Matt Days fan. I want to see him in the NFL. But man, without him, what else? What else we got?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been ugly. I don't know. I I expect we'll come out and play fine against Carolina, but I think they're better than we are. I would like him to win. If he's going to save his job, I would like him to win. Or if he's going to keep his job for 50, at least beat Carolina so I have something to hang my hat on. If he gets blown out about Carolina, then I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to feel.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
one more thing to say that wasn't planned that just happened to come up now. What is almost, every school in the country, what are they excited about right now? What sport?
Basketball. Oh, football.
Football. Okay.
Yeah.
Bowl season's coming up. It's coming to the end.
Yeah.
As we were recording, I get the little, pop up on the side of the screen where I got the hashtag statement email about state athletics. There's talk of cross country, women's soccer, women's golf, wrestling, volleyball, gymnastics. Let's see, what else? Basketball, men's and women's. Season tickets for baseball. Not one mention of the football program.
I mean,
that's not good.
Why would you mention it? Yeah.
That's not good. You should talking about, you should be worried about, coordinating, bowl trips and rivalry game coming. We played Carolina this week and it wasn't even mentioned.
That's awful.
That's not good. That's all. I'm done. I'm not talking anymore.
I saw somebody tweeted at us, maybe it was you. It said Debbie Yao should be the AD for all non-revenue sports, and let's bring in somebody else who actually cares about football and basketball. I'm like, oh, it's not a bad idea. Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm at that weird place I think everybody else is. I just want some excitement. I want something positive to hang my hat on. I don't want to be 5-7 in year 4 and think that's okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going round and round here. Basketball, lost to Creighton, beat St. Joe's. We haven't really seen this team yet, so really not a whole lot to talk about, I don't think.
There's not a lot to talk about, but I don't care who your team is. You don't give up 112 points.
To Creighton.
Yeah. They'll top 25, I guess, but no, never. There's no excuse for that, man. But they're young. Let's move on. The rest of the team will be there later. So
yeah. I saw something that said somebody said Creighton played too fast for us. Really? Creighton played too fast for us? If that's the case, what is Carolina going to do to us?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think that's nonsense. I think Godfrey just doesn't know how to coach defense. But
no, he's yet to show that. But hey, we'll have pretty much most of next week to talk basketball because our last game's Friday. So shows my confidence level.
Yeah. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but it can probably wait.
I do have remember to bring the recorder out at the tailgate and have a kind of long drunken conversation with a group. I'll throw on at the end here. I'm not going to edit it, so I'm warning you. If there's children, you should probably just not don't let them listen. I don't know why I had so much trouble getting that out, but so I'll put that on. Enjoy that, I guess. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think that's the general feeling for. I think that group conversation sums it up pretty well.
Yeah.
But all right, that's all I got. Another exciting edition of the Red and White Podcast, as always.
Woo. All right, guys. Talk to you next week.
All right. Go back.
Go Pack. Hey guys, I'm going in now and editing the conversation from the tailgate, and if you were out there, cold front was moving in. The wind was picking up pretty hard, so there's a lot of noise. I'm trying to cut and paste a little bit of it, but still sounds pretty rough. However, if you can deal with the wind, there's some pretty good drunken banter. So enjoy. Cheers.
Hey, this is Dustin coming at you with Adam from the tailgate lot.
Adam's got a sharp
4,000 PNC live.
I love Adam's hat.
And we're gonna get your opinion on the season so far. How do you think it went?
That? So the way Doran is going to spin it is he's going to say, look, I was 2 plays away from having a great season, Clemson kick, and that's what he's going to be referring to. But no, that is not what this season's about.
Tell me what we're beating Boston College and ECU, and then beat Clemson at kick, and then beat Florida State at
We're here with a
kick.
conversation between Adam and
What's
Alex.
going to happen? What's going to happen?
I just would have felt like that at that point we would have been on our way up, but now I feel like we're on our way down. That's really what it comes down to.
So we would have been a smooth.
No, you're
what?
talking about if we won one of the big games?
No, if we would have been if we would have won
I'm
all
just talking
4
about
of
if we
those.
beat ECU and beat Boston College and then still lost on some bullshit.
Nope. If we would have won all 4 of those, let's talk about it, Pat. We won all 4
well,
of
then we're
those.
talking about national championship. I mean,
Are we really talking about national championship? Are we really? NC State in a national championship conversation?
no.
It's not 1983, guys. I mean, I've got a mini bottle of Jim Beam right here that I'll take half of that at least. I mean, I feel like if you're gonna tell me we were gonna win a national championship, let's talk about it. When your podcast recorder looks like a vapor, like
It's a recorder, homie.
no, can I vape out of that? Is that strawberry flavored or?
And there goes all
Kiwi,
accountability all the way
Kiwi
up.
strawberry, man. I'm a gentle soul. So what are your thoughts on it, man?
Will like it, everybody.
Will, what do you think about it, bud?
Listen, last year, Dave Huxtable, is that his first name? Should have been fired. I think you and I agree. You and I have agreed with that firsthand. That has not happened, and we've lost Matt Canada, who can beat Clemson.
Does everyone here agree with the Matt Canada fire, or was that a bad? No, it was a horrible fire.
It was a horrible fire. It was a horrible fire.
I agree. I'm with y'all there.
He was being looked at by Tennessee to come be their offensive coordinator. I mean, that's a step up. Like, and we fire the fucking guy? Like, are you shitting me? Like, what is that?
He turned down a lot of money.
Say shit, right?
He turned down a lot of money to stay here over Tennessee because he liked Raleigh.
That's Mississippi State shit.
If you're good enough for the SEC, you're fucking definitely good enough for NC
So
State.
how bad is the
Right.
chemistry inside the quote-unquote locker room if Matt Canada can turn that shit down and go to fucking Pittsburgh?
He's tearing it up at Pitt.
No, but to go to Pittsburgh. Oh, he's just upset at number whatever Clemson
Now, let's be honest with
for
ourselves.
Pitt.
Do we all agree that Pitt would be a lateral move for somebody like Matt Canada?
Yeah.
No, I feel like that would be a step up for Matt Canada.
Pitt's won national titles. They won a national title. I don't know how long ago it was. We've not done that.
That's one more.
Like, when have we won the ACC? What, 79? Was that it?
Yeah, late
Long
70s.
time ago.
Late 70s.
Okay, so going on the offensive coordinator side, is it the OC's fault or is it the head coach's fault? Because Matt Canada's tearing it up at Pitt. They've not scored below 30 points.
I blame Dave Doran for the ECU loss solely.
Is it the kicker's fault or the coach's fault? It's the coach's fault for not having a kicker.
Coach's fault. Coach's fault, 100%. You cannot 100% blame a kicker for our losses.
If we beat Clemson, would
that would be a
we
step
have
up.
lost to Louisville and Boston College? Or did the Clemson loss kind of take us out of both of those?
That was a hard fought loss.
Yeah, but did that hurt them?
We would not have lost to Boston College if we had beat Clemson.
I think
But
Louisville
here's
still wins, but Boston College, we should have won,
Louisville's
no doubt.
a given. Like we would have
Yeah.
gotten murdered by them. Period.
Well, we say that, but what did Houston do to Louisville last night? Like,
I just wanna say one thing about
Houston's
Clemson.
defense is legit.
What I want to see is a coach that after we have a hard-fought game against Clemson, that he's able to use that hard-fought game to inspire his players to come through and start whooping ass, saying, "Hey guys, you guys were really close to beating this game." And that's the team win national championship last year. You should be damn proud of yourself.
Damn, I'm motivated right now.
I mean,
right? Let me go out in the field right now. I'll catch 35 balls.
Let's go out here and win the next one because we can, because we should, because we're supposed to. But that's not what happened.
So is a good coach one that turns that into a positive? Like, that's where I draw the line. Like, you need to be able to take a tough loss like that and make it into a positive for your team, and that's my problem with him.
Yeah, I mean, all I heard was excuses. I mean, he said, something about, we were one play away from, painting a masterpiece today. It's like
always one play away.
Looking back on, I was upset after that game after missing that kick, but at the same time, it's like, you know what? I'm really proud of my boys today. They came out there, they fought hard. We played the runner-up to the national championship last year. I think it's a big step up for our program.
He skeeted, folks. He skeeted.
Yeah. You're jacking us off.
But that's all you're doing. But no, you inspire the players. Inspire the players to come out and tell them that they are worthy of that win and that they are worthy of every win thereafter.
How are they worthy of a win where they?
But then the next week we come out and just get our fucking ass whooped.
I mean, how are they worthy of a win when they didn't get it, and then they come back behind that?
Taff. It'd be a different game if we catch that. So again, he's blaming it on his players.
It's true, but you recruited the receivers. And you know what? This is what blows my mind. How do we have as many NFL quarterbacks as we do and not ever have a fucking wide receiver?
Hold up. Back up. We had wide receivers. We had Torrey Holt. We had all these other 1998. Hold up. Back up.
Hang on.
But you back it down, and you got to be honest.
Alex Williams, attorney at law, is bowed up, folks.
You got to be honest with
Who
yourself.
weared diapers when Torrey Holt was playing?
Bowed up.
Oh, come on now. You all got it,
got
man.
1,000 yards. The streak is over. He got
Matt Day's got 1,000 yards. That's good. That's wonderful. That's grand.
Hey,
But let's be honest.
We hosted 2 Hurricanes this year.
Yeah, we did that too. But you gotta, as a wide receiver, you gotta own up to what you're due
How do you
to.
imagine that?
Either you hit your yards, you catch your catches, or you don't. And if you don't, you're not entitled to fucking shit.
Yeah. I'm happy for it. I like
I'm happy for it. All right, so Debbie L's not gonna fire Dave Doran.
More than likely not.
Nope.
Because Debbie's leaving soon. She don't want to go through the hassle.
So what's gonna happen? Dustin, this is your
She
opinion.
needs to retire and go ahead and speed up this process so the next guy can come in and choose his or her.
I agree. We have a lame duck AD situation. You ask what's happened, or what I think's going to happen. We're going to have another year of mediocrity.
You've got
We're going to have the rest of my life mediocrity the way I'm looking at it right now.
That's a good point from Adam there.
Are we always gonna sit here and be 6 and 6?
And why are we cheating more? God damn it! Let's steal some playbooks or something. Jesus Christ!
Louisville did it. Damn it!
All right, folks, that's us, and we're out.